G'day and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. So we'll jump straight into the Master League and currently running Giratina, Dialga and Mewtwo. So nothing special about the moves. And up first we have Kyogre. So it's a good matchup. For the Giratina, you just need to be careful of careful of Blizzard. So throw straight into Shadow Ball. People don't seem to want to shield the first move of Giratina unless you're facing another Giratina, and then they will shield it up. So it's actually got Thunder, so must be running Surf and Thunder, so that's not too bad. For us, throw the second one, and then in comes the Dialga. So Dialga being hard countered by Melmetal there, so not ideal. And the question is, do I let this go? So it is always going to be a superpower. So throw the Iron Head, and they shielded it up, and then throwing straight into the next one. So big mistake there. Do not shield that. Let it go. That's a really big mistake. You want to let it go and come in with the Giratina to farm it up. So swapping out there, really big mistake, because shielding up there, really big mistake, because now they've got a shield advantage, and I had to swap out anyway. So then now they've got a shield and switch locked in. So favourable position that they're in. So really bad play, and do not do that. So out comes Giratina. Straight for the Shadow Ball here, and able to land that, and it's going to be close, but unfortunately they're able to get to their charge move before I can charge them down. Giratina comes out comes the Dialga. So had I been able to charge down that Dialga, would have been able to throw a move straight on the Melmetal when it came back out, and would have been the way to go. So first big mistake, the big mistake that really lost me that game was shielding up the Dialga against the Melmetal. Just a terrible shield. So next one, in comes Groudon. So Groudon on the lead. Again, people don't like to shield up the first charge move from Giratina, and you see the Shadow Ball comes through. So Giratina is actually a positive match, and I've shielded up the Fire Punch, which is horrible. I know this is going to be an Earthquake, but I can't double shield it here. So what I do is just go straight for the Ominous Wind to take it out. So it doesn't leave much health. I did actually get the boost there, but because I had such little health, it really makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Out comes the Dialga, and they've got a shield advantage here. So I'm going to have to shield this up. It is just the Iron Head, and so I'll farm them down a little bit more and then throw this charge move. And let's see. So grab the last shield, and they've got another one ready. So they've swapped out and came in with the Kyogre. Kyogre's Surfs are just going to do absolutely massive amounts of damage, and they've got a shield to boot, so not great for me, needing to get to 3 Side Strikes here. So as you can see, so good example of how much damage a Side Strike actually does to a Kyogre, and it's well over 50% of its health. So again, burnt that first shield on the Fire Punch, and was downhill from there. So not great in that second one. So let's hopefully pull out a little bit better match. So Dialga on the lead, horrible lead for me. And I swap into Mewtwo just because pretty much every team is running a Dialga counter. So there's no point switching into Dialga. If I had have switched into Dialga, it would have been the Groudon coming out and being able to take me down. So really good that they've switched into that one. So I will shield this up, and it is the Earthquake. So it's always going, for there, more likely for it to be the Earthquake. So I'm not sure why I've shielded this one up. It's going to be a Fire Punch, and it is. And now I need to look to farm up a little bit more, just so I can... didn't want to let them get to another Fire Punch, do a little bit of extra chip damage. They've got a shield advantage now, so this is really not ideal. they will throw energy on, so the Side Strike just doesn't take it out, and I'll come in with my own Dialga here, and we'll see what they want to do. So able to get to the Iron Head, and will I grab their last shield? No, they're letting it go down, keeping their last shield for the their own Dialga in the back there. So this should be putting enough pressure on to grab that last shield, and it does. So that's happy days. And let's see them charge that all the way down. So come out with the Mewtwo, got charged energy, and you will always win CMP tie with a Mewtwo, unless the other person's, well, if you've got a attack 15 Mewtwo, unless they've got an attack 15 Mewtwo that's buddy boosted. So able to take that third game. After a bit of a rough start there. So also had the Giratina in the back. So pretty comfortable win there. Yeah. So next battle, in comes Giratina for me and Kyogre. So again, good matchup for me. So they've swapped it out into their Dialga. So I will mirror this because I'm not running a hard counter to it. It is the Iron Head, but I do want to win switch, so we'll farm it down just a little bit more, throw the Iron Head, and we'll see what we get here. So they will shield that up, fine. And next one. So do I learn from my mistake? I do. I let this go. Come in with the Giratina to farm down, because I know that Giratina is going to be okay against Kyogre, and so is the Mewtwo, especially with an energy lead. So we'll shield the Surf up. I know it's going to be a Surf, too quick to be anything else. Get to the double Side Strike and then throw those. So let's see if we grab their last shield. So not grabbing the last shield yet. And will we grab it this time? So they've shielded up there, so perfect. Able to grab that last shield. They will come in, get to their Surf just before I can. Able to come in, farm up some energy on the Giratina, and then throw the Shadow Ball straight onto the Togekiss and take that out to get good game right there. So actually losing so for them getting to Surf before my Mewtwo got to my Side Strike was actually a good thing, because it allowed me some time for the Giratina to farm up on the Kyogre to throw that Shadow Ball. So this is a favourable match, but I don't like it. So I go straight for the Ominous Wind here, and able to grab the first shield, so that's always telling me something. Shield up this first one. And it is a Shadow Ball, so you've really got to watch that Shadow Ball. This one was too quick to be a Shadow Ball, so let that one go. Side Strike comes through, and then they switch out into their Dialga. So we're equal on shields, and I'm ahead in health, Dialga v Dialga. So really looking good for me here. So expecting this to be potentially a Draco. It is just the Iron Head, but I will be able to finish that off and charge that down. So let's see what now comes out. Out comes a Groudon. So possibly what I should have done here was charge up to the Draco and throw that, because they've just fully committed to farming me down, which is really unfortunate, and now they've got energy to throw straight on my Mewtwo as it comes back in. Earthquake does a lot of damage, and then they switch out to their own Mewtwo, so I will switch to my Giratina and instantly throw that Ominous Wind, and it should be enough damage to take that out. They're now having to throw energy to take out my Giratina, and then I should be able to get to the Side Strike before they're able to get to their charge move and take me out. So good game right there. So be wary of those quick swap outs, especially to take that last little bit of health on something when you've got energy and you're almost have taken out your opponent's Pokemon. Don't want to throw that energy. I'm seeing a lot more people swap out into something that's super effective to delete all that energy, and not worrying about the losing switch, so switch locking in. So got to be really careful on that. So in this matchup, Giratina altered versus Mewtwo, so it is sort of a negative match here, but Mewtwo just gets the Psystrike so quickly that it's actually not too bad. So I was hoping for another Dragon Claw there, but unfortunately it was the Shadow Sneak, so it was able to take me out. So we're equal on shield, so no reason to shield this. Dragon Claw is going to do neutral damage, and then I can farm up and get a lot of extra energy there, so that's really good. So out comes a Groudon. Going to throw the Iron Head here, and then switch out into my own Giratina. So this is not a bad matchup. It's not great, but you can get to charge moves relatively quickly, so you can get to 2 charge moves, especially when you've got that little bit of energy advantage. So we're down to a shield each. So I've got a shield, they haven't. So I'll let this one go because I do think it's going to be the Fire Punch, and then able to build up to the Iron Head and throw that energy. So keep track of the energy of the Pokemon in the back, because had that been the Earthquake, that's good game right there, with a shield remaining. So I wanted to let the first one, the Fire Punch, through, because I knew that if they then would have to save up for a either 2 Fire Punches or an Earthquake, so that's the goal. So sort of an okay matchup. Got to be wary of the Outrage here, so I will throw my own Ominous Wind first, and I do manage to get the shield bait. So I'm expecting a Sand Tomb, and it is, so we'll drop my defense, and then the second one I'm expecting an Outrage, which seems to be the play that these always do, and now I will throw my own Shadow Ball, and there's the second shield. So they've decided to 2-shield this this up, and then they threw another Outrage. So they should be lowish on energy. So I come in with the Mewtwo. Unfortunately, they get to another move. It is just a Sand Tomb. I let it go. I want to charge up a little bit and then try and swap out. Unfortunately, was not able to swap out in time. It is another Sand Tomb bait, which is not ideal. I want to swap off to clear those debuffs, and let's see what they've got in the back. So out comes a Togekiss, and they swap perfectly on the charge move there. So really not ideal for me, but let's see what we can do. So can I get to the next charge move? No, I can't. They get there first. That's going to be absolutely fine. I've got energy on my Mewtwo there. We'll be able to throw that straight away. And then when I've got back-to-back Psystrikes, and so we'll be able to Psystrike down the Togekiss there. So charge it up to back-to-back again. Throw the first one, not going to be doing enough, and then straight into the next one. They were able to get a fast move through in between, but able to get to that next charge move there, so able to take that game. So just be... Sand Tomb bait is just brutal, really difficult, because if you shield it up, absolutely horrendous, but then if you miss shield and they get an Outrage through, you're in all sorts of trouble. So Kyogre on the lead, again, not a bad lead for me, and expecting to see them switch out. So they're not switching out, and I have charged up to a lot of energy. So normally what I would say to do here is throw the Shadow Ball. They don't ever shield against the first one, it seems, and then was able to get a boost there, which is absolutely outstanding. They're going to be throwing the Surf because I got the boost and they know I'm going to shield up absolutely everything. Good play on their part. Swap in the Snorlax. It absolutely walls my Giratina, and that will clear my boost. So really good play on their part. I come into Snorlax with my Mewtwo, and then unfortunately they get to a Body Slam before I'm able to get to my double Psystrike, so there goes my shield. They're going to shield up my first Psystrike, and then I'm going to go straight into the next one to really put some pressure on, to make them want to throw that energy as soon as they get it. And they swap out, and then I'm almost fainted. I wanted to get to that Focus Blast, but instead I'm just going to throw this Psystrike. I need all the chip damage I can get. and I potentially could have got there, but you just don't know. So I'm going to come in with the Giratina here, just because I know it's got such an awful matchup against the Snorlax. So interesting that they're fire punching here. They're just obviously wanting to do that little bit more chip damage. Let's see what they want to do. So able to throw the Ominous Wind, get the charge move down, and then I've thrown a Ominous Wind straight away. So what I probably should have done is kept that energy, yeah, but I mean, a little bit of extra chip damage there is always good. They've obviously swapped straight out into the Kyogre, and then back in comes the Snorlax, and I've got to a charge move on that Dialga, and able to take that good game right there. So really happy with that one. Maintaining alignments there, and managed to get the boost. With probably forced the swap out a little earlier than they would have liked. But with the matchup of Kyogre versus Giratina, you're in a pretty good position. So again, this is a losing match. So Groudon will win this match. Straight up Earthquake almost takes me out there, and then I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. So I actually get a shield this time, which is really interesting. I'm going to look to go straight for the next Shadow Ball, so I won't shield this one up. If it is the Fire Punch, it's actually not going to take me out, and then they make a really good swap into the Dragonite and delete all that energy, which is what I'm talking about. Watch those fast swaps to delete that energy is just brutal. People don't mind locking in that Pokemon. In this instance, I had a reasonable counter for it, but I am going to have to shield this up and then farm it down there. So a little bit of lag there. Equal shields, and I've got a lot of energy. Melmetal came out, so not ideal for me, and I do want to get out of there. I don't know why I'm staying in. So here, please don't shield. So no shield, and they've taken me out. So wasted a fair bit of energy there, and should have just swapped straight out of that matchup, because it was so very bad. So in comes the Groudon. I'm able to get to the Focus Blast, and that's going to take out the Groudon. Back in comes the Melmetal there. I'm able to shield up, and then I'm going to be able to charge up to my Focus Blast before they get to another Rock Slide to take me out. So I was still able to take that matchup, but again, sometimes you just want to swap it out rather than stay in really bad matchups. So really lucky with that one to take that match. So jumping straight into the next one, and a nice lead is always good. So Giratina into Dialga. This is not a nice lead, and I need to get out of there. So swap it into my Mewtwo, and I'm really hoping that they swap out. Unfortunately, they do not, which this puts me in a bit more of a tough situation. So for this, I will over farm a lot. So I've got 2 back-to-back Psy Strikes. I do get a shield, and I usually do go for the get the shield on the first one. The second one is very variable. So in this instance, got the shield, so really good to be able to throw that Psy Strike instead of the Focus Blast, and then able to get to a third. So really good. So I've got a shield advantage. But they have obviously got the energy advantage. So they throw the Iron Head, and we're back to even shields. I charge that down, and let's see what comes out. So out comes the Melmetal, which is really unfortunate because I switch into the Giratina, and I've got a Dragonite in the back. But I did have the energy lead, so that's not too bad. So the problem is I'm going to need to take this down, and then I've got to take down a Melmetal with a Dialga. So not looking good. So super powered, enough damage to take me out there. So I was waiting for one superpower, then I would have thrown my own Draco and hoped for the best, but not to be. So that's what happens when opposing players just have all the perfect counters. It happens. So Able to go 4-1 in that set, so really, really nice. And yeah, so pretty successful. So same old team as Season 1, Season 2, but still a very successful team. So hopefully that continues. And we go from there. So able to get a Skarmory, which is not great. Not a great reward and wasting balls, but it is what it is. So happy days. So hopefully that was useful for someone. Have a look at how to play those matches. So like I said, Giratina on the lead. People barely, so unless it's another Giratina, people basically do not shield that first charge move. So throw the Shadow Ball. It almost always connects and does a huge amount of damage, and then it puts massive amounts of pressure on for their backline, and you can throw the next one as a Ominous Wind and bait out that shield. So thanks very much for watching. Hopefully it was useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.